I ain't drunk. I'm just drinking. But you're so high. Oh man, you know I ain't high. But you're so high. Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then. But you're so high. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Oh, come on now, you all don't feel like that.
Hey kids, a little bit of a follow-up here. Something that I don't think I missed. It's just not in the documentation. There are a couple steps you have to take to get this frickin' FC ESC combo to work. And it's not in the documentation. This is for the Spedix, whatever, it's up in the description. You have to solder a blob, if you will. I just assumed this was already done, but whatever. So, for our VTX battery to, I'm sorry, this is the camera voltage right here. You have to jump this pad and this pad, which is battery and neutral, okay? That's if you're running a battery. I don't know if you guys can even see this, but it's right there. That's if you're running a camera that can run off the voltage, or you can jump it to 5 volts. Then for the VTX, you actually have to jump the built-in VTX power. Fucking weird, right? So I had to jump that to 5 volts. And never mind this blob here. It's 5 volts to neutral there to get that going. The other thing that we had to do was we had to put a blob, which I kind of screwed up there, a jumper for the 5 volts to ground for your receiver if you're using 5 volts. And the other biggie is you have to do, what is this, RX to S bus. If you're doing S bus, you have to put a jumper between these two. Fuck me. I had to tear the whole thing apart again. So let's pop it back together, and we got about 15-mile-an-hour winds out here, so I'm gonna put in a small battery, just a little 464S, and we're gonna see how this bird flies. Bam, stay tuned. All right, there it was. My landing, believe it or not, wasn't a typical JJ horrible skills landing. That was a battery going to shit landing. This Lumineer 464S, which is a 75C supposedly, had a full charge on it when I started. And you saw it said low battery, and it's puffed. Not a ton, but it's like, really, believe it or not, and I know you guys think I bitch slap my batteries a lot. I almost never puff batteries or have problems. This was a brand new battery too. I'm not sure about this Lumineer crap. And you shouldn't be running a 460 on a bird like this anyway. It should be a 850 or something. But anyway, who gives a shit? So it flew really, really well, considering the fact that it was 20. Well, it's I'm going to say 12 to 13 mile an hour winds out there right now. For a tiny little bird, she hauled ass. I like it. The motors are great. Love the motors. And I've had a couple people since I've done this build video say those motors rock, and they do. My favorites are still probably the Cobras, but it's marginal. It's very, very small. And again, the Rotor Geeks, absolutely love the Rotor Geek motors too. Camera's my typical Fox ear, so that we all knew was going to work okay. I forgot to set the VTX power. I think it was still on 25 milliwatts, so I got to change that. It needs to be on 100. That's my fault. The motors were nice and cool. It's running butterfly, all that good stuff. But I don't know if I'm sold on that Spedix or not. It held up fine. Nothing's warm. Nothing's hot. It performed great, but I don't like pinned FCs. I don't like cables, you know, these little cable ports and everything. I like hardwire stuff. But for 60 bucks, literally, I think it's 59 bucks, you get the everything. You get the VTX, you get the ESC and the flight controller. So, and those little 4 jumper settings you have to make. I didn't love that either. But 60 bucks versus what's an HGLRC 40 or 38 or whatever. Those run, what, 70 bucks? I'd probably go HGLRC, honestly. But the HGLRC is about 10 bucks more, and you don't get the VTX. But I don't know if this VTX is all of that to be cracked up over. So, anyway, that was the quick maiden flight of Moka JJ 3. It's actually like number 6 for me, but I only have 3 that I keep. So, till next time, kids, keep shining side up. Bye.
Bam, JJ! Hope you like fishing. Bam, JJ! Hey, JJ! Hope you like fishing.